He ran towards gunfire to protect the innocent and prevent further bloodshed.
Well, tonight on 7 News, honoring slain trooper Joel Davis, a funeral ceremony that brought out thousands of people to pay their respects, and hundreds more lined the streets of Watertown as Davis was transported to his final resting place.
You're watching the North Country's news station. 7 News this evening starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This afternoon it was the funeral for Trooper Joel R. Davis. Thousands of law enforcement officers along with friends, family, even strangers said goodbye and thank you. Davis's funeral was held at McGrath Sports Complex on Fort Drum. He was killed in the line of duty last Sunday night while responding to a domestic dispute at a home near Theresa. He was allegedly shot and killed by Justin Walters, who's also accused of shooting and killing his wife, Nicole, and injuring another woman on his property. Now at the funeral, the chaplain for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, which Davis used to work for, told his family the loss of Davis's life hits home for everyone.
Your loss is our loss, and our lives are better for having to known Joel.
Now 7 News reporter John Moore was at the funeral this afternoon. He joins us now. John?
Well, Patrick, it was a very somber tribute for a fallen officer, and what was so impressive was the sheer number of fellow law enforcement who were there, all to say that Trooper Davis will not be forgotten. A tribute to a fallen brother and a thank you for his sacrifice.
To the Davis family, I thank you for sharing Joel with us. We were all better people to know him.
Trooper Davis was remembered as a devoted dad, a hard worker, dedicated to his community, and yes, a hero.
Despite knowing the grave risks that he faced, he performed his duty. That is a trooper. That is a hero. That is bravery. His life was taken because he did what we asked him to do.
Paying tribute were thousands of law enforcement officers from all across the nation and Canada. Most of the uniformed New York State Police were here, and nearly every state was represented.
When you're part of law enforcement, you're part of a giant 600,000 person family, and in times of tragedy, they need to know that there's more people out there than just the people they see every day that are supporting them, care for them, and are mourning with them.
And our agency always sends 2 troopers to represent whenever a state agency experiences a death, in-line death.
No matter where you are doing this type of job, we're all pretty much the same, right? So no matter where you go across North America, we do the same job, we do it with the same purpose, and when one of us goes down the line of duty, it affects all of us.
But it affects Trooper Davis's immediate law enforcement family most deeply, including the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, where he served 10 years.
Everyone in the law enforcement community knows that is a dangerous job, and we train for it the entirety of our careers. And it's still shockingly sad when something like this happens.
Trooper Joel Davis, as his superintendent said, when things began to go wrong, Joel was the trooper you wanted around.
Rest in peace, Trooper Joel R. Davis.
Patrick, the message was very clear today. The law enforcement community is indeed one big family.
All right, John Moore, thank you very much. Now, after the funeral, Trooper Davis's body left McGrath Sports Complex as he was saluted outside by hundreds of law enforcement officers, like John said, from across the country, giving him the proper send-off. But that wouldn't be the last salute. 7 News reporter Aaron Bischoff is live downtown Watertown, where Trooper Davis's procession rode through this afternoon. Aaron, it was a somber moment.
Yes, Patrick, there were hundreds of community members, young and old, here in Public Square in downtown Watertown earlier this afternoon to pay their respects to Trooper Joel Davis. And whether they knew him or not, they came to support law enforcement and his family. As the hearse of slain State Trooper Joel Davis slowly made its way through Public Square, hundreds of community members were there to pay their final respects.
The crowd just went quiet, particularly when the hearse went by, and I, in particular, noticed the car of the family. and my heart just broke.
State troopers, law enforcement members from all over Jefferson County, along with family and friends, escorted the hearse carrying their fallen brother from the funeral at Fort Drum through downtown Watertown to Brookside Cemetery. While some of the people who came to watch the procession didn't know Trooper Davis, many of them had family members in law enforcement and came to show their respect to officers.
These men and women who serve and protect our community every day, they deserve our respect.
It just reminds me that all the law enforcement are out there doing what they can for everybody, and I really appreciate what they're doing for us.
Most of all, people came out to support the Davis family, a member of the North Country community.
I just thought it'd be nice that we could come and let them know we're sorry for them. I just want to cry for them. I think they lost their dad.
As the procession made its way through downtown Watertown and up Washington Street, officials were on hand to stop traffic. And no matter where you were on that funeral route in the city, you were sure to see people lining the streets to pay their final respects. Patrick.
Well, Aaron Bischoff, downtown Watertown. Aaron, thanks. And tomorrow, friends and family will pay their last respects to Nicole Walters, the wife of accused killer Justin Walters. Her calling hours are set for tomorrow from 2 to 6 p.m. at Ferguson Funeral Home in North Syracuse. A burial will be at Oakville Cemetery in Syracuse, which are private services. Well, let's switch gears. Time now for our first look at the forecast of meteorologist Michelle McLeod. Michelle, what are we looking at?
Well, right now we're looking at pretty clear conditions. We did see some rain overnight and yesterday made way for a high pressure system to come into the area. As we zoom in closer, it's still pretty much the same. Pretty good day for just clear conditions. But all that's going to change though over the next few hours. However, we'll see some cloud cover coming in and making way for mostly sunny conditions. We'll talk more about the change coming up. Pat?
Well, Michelle, thank you very much. Still ahead on 7 News, from the Earth to the Moon to the auction block. Also, powerboats on the water not using their speed, but their strength in numbers to raise money for charity. And the championship match in the Watertown City Golf Tournament etched in stone. All that's left is to declare the winner. 7 News Weekend back after the break.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News this evening with Patrick Malowski. Weekend weather with Michelle McLeod. And your North Country sports with Rob Crone.
Dozens of boaters spent the day on the St. Lawrence River, all for a good cause. 7 News reporter Natalie Kutchko takes us to the inaugural poker run in Clayton.
Boaters rev their engines to cruise along the St. Lawrence River. It's the first ever poker run in Clayton, and it benefits a number of charities. Boats were lined up and ready to participate. Dennis Powlin is an avid boater and one of the many people that brought his friends out for the cause.
It's all about giving back. You know, we're fortunate enough we can be able to do this boating, and the community, it's a wonderful town.
The Thousand Islands have had poker runs before, but this is the first of its kind in Clayton. Boaters will pick up a playing card at each stop. The goal is to have the best poker hand at the end of the run.
It gives you a really good feeling to help people that are in need or maybe not as fortunate as yourself.
This powerboat is just one of the 70 participants here in the first poker run, heading to Ogdensburg, then to Cape Vincent, and back to Clayton. All the money raised will go to River Hospital's wellness program, Clayton and Alexandria Bay's fire departments, and the Thousand Islands Rescue Service. Organizers are calling this year a success and say they'll be ready to run again next year. In Clayton, Natalie Kutchko, 7 News.
Gonna want to check out that forecast. Michelle McLeod has it for us coming up after the break.